What's going on, everybody? How's it hanging? How's it happen? You guys know this. This is Kevin from the Chord Progression Podcast, brought to you by MSOTD Rocks, Rock and Metal Thrive. Hey, guys. Man, previous episode we had was with a band we saw at Blue Ridge. They put on one hell of a show. This episode, another band that was at Blue Ridge we saw put on one hell of a show, but they've been on the podcast before, so we could talk about a band that took 25-minute set and turned a 500-person crowd into a 5,000 to 6,000 person crowd. Now, this is the type of band you want to get behind. Trust me on this. Before we get started, though, I want to thank our sponsor, Phoenix Fitness. Yeah, you guys know concerts, mosh pits, my kind of thing, and I will not jump out of one. No matter how dead tired I will not jump out of one because my cardio is legit, and I want to make sure that I can stay in those. So when I hit the gym, it's cardio all day, weightlifting all day. I'm making sure that, I am in tip-top shape, but, I got to help recover. I got to help repair right. So that's where Phoenix Fitness comes in. They got different pre-workouts, both sim and sim-free, different BCAA recovery compounds, different creatine, different proteins for AM, PM, and after workout, different multivitamins. Any kind of supplement you need to achieve your fitness goals, Phoenix Fitness has for you. So our listeners and viewers on YouTube get 15% off at fnxfit.com using the code MSOTD at checkout. So want to hit those fitness goals? Want to make sure you're ready for the mosh pits? Boom. Phoenix Fitness will help you out with that. Thank you, Phoenix Fitness. Now on our feature presentation. Yeah, this band was at Blue Ridge. They put on one hell of a show, and they've been on the podcast before. You guys like metalcore? You're going to like this one because we talked to Seasons once again about how they made the most during that set. Got some new stuff coming up, and they try and pressure me into going to their final show of the year on October 23rd, 2021 in Richmond, Virginia. Will I be there? It's up to you guys. Put the pressure on me. You'll find out why during the podcast, but are you ready? Let's go! Yeah! Well, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, listeners of the Chord Progression Podcast. Back at the beginning of 2021, I had this band called Seasons on the podcast, and not gonna lie, we had a hell of a time. It was absolutely incredible talking to these guys, and it made me want to see them live so damn bad. So when I got the chance to actually see them live at Blue Ridge, not gonna lie, a couple friends were like, "Oh, we're not sure if we're gonna go see him." I said, "Screw it, I'm going to see him. You guys can't stop me." And all of a sudden, my friend said, "Oh, my friend was playing them in the car, so let me follow you along." When I say that there was a band that took this 25-minute set that they had at Blue Ridge and it made the absolute most of it and made probably more fans than anybody else had done, this is the band that did that. So please welcome back to the podcast, Josh, Mark, Matt, and Nick from the band Seasons. So guys, I got to say it. Welcome back.
Thank you for having us.
Yes, thank you for having us, bro beans.
Hey, I'm glad to have you guys back. How's everything going in Virginia today?
Fantastic.
Feels pretty good outside. Finally.
Yeah, decent weather.
Well, it's starting to turn a little bit towards that fall weather. Leaves are changing, changes in the air. About to get colder, especially for me. Next month, probably start seeing some snowfall and be me, being more hermit-like, just like I don't want to go out in the cold, so be doing more podcasts like this. So, woo!
It's a good thing we've been used to being in the house for the last 2 years.
That is true, but I'm still not the biggest fan of it. So I'm going to end up just trying to find as many of those live shows as possible that are happening indoors, just throw down in some mosh pits, have a good time, and just, relish in the fact that live music is back and I don't have to worry about it going away. Hopefully.
Definitely hopefully.
Well, again, the big reason why I wanted to bring you guys back on the podcast is because I got to see you perform live for the first time at Blue Ridge. And again, like I said at the beginning, it was like you guys had 25 minutes to really make your mark. And I don't think a band used that 25 minutes more effectively, more efficiently than you guys did, because not gonna lie, the amount of people that were just really getting into the show, the amount of people you guys had in the pit, and the fact that out of any of the bands around those smaller stages, you were the only ones that I saw that actively had crowd surfers going through there. That is absolutely insane to have something like that happen for a 25-minute set, but my God, you guys pulled it off, and it was something that people are going to remember, especially if they're at that set, or if they listen to the podcast today on Blue Ridge, because I called it, I was like, my God, that was awesome.
Yeah, dude. I actually wanted to crowd surf on our last song, and I thought very seriously about getting a running start and jumping into that crowd, but I thought I might break myself, or even worse, my guitar. So I didn't do it.
Oh darn! If I would have known that you were planning on doing that, I could have maybe conglomerate a couple people closer to that side of the stage. So it was like, if you're ready to do it, it's like, we got you, man. We're good.
Oh no, I'd be good. I just need the Schecter to stay intact. If that thing breaks, can't buy shoes next month.
Oh man, yeah, that's definitely is something that would have been a bad thing to have happen. But then again, if we would have known about it, been like, okay, just jump into it. Okay, make sure you protect Schefter. We got you covered. And honestly, if we needed to, we would have just like, instead of like full on like pass you along, we could have just like carried you across the pit, just like, okay, we got this. Ooh. Okay, put him back on stage. We're good.
Yeah, I think I'm known in this band doing a lot of like silly antics, and that might be the one that gets me kicked out if I did that. We've had enough of this idiot.
Only if you don't pull it off. If you pull it off, it's awesome.
Just screw it up. You just look like an idiot in front of.
You just javelin somebody with your guitar in the audience.
Man, that was funny.
My favorite part about that was like, I don't think the security guards believed us. Like, we warned them, like multiple members warned them, like the whole time that festival, we were like, man, these guys have literally just been standing here getting paid. And so like, we're telling them like, y'all dudes are getting ready to earn your paycheck. I promise you're not going to stand here for this set. I don't think they believed that at all. And they were not ready.
They only had like 2 guys up there because like the previous 4 bands didn't really have that much movement or interaction with the crowd, so they weren't that worried about it. And then, I mean, it's different being on stage because it all happens a lot quicker than just being able to see and realize what's going on. But I mean, 1 second you're, in your mind playing something to the song, and then another second you're seeing people getting thrown over the guardrail.
Yeah, they definitely were not ready for that, especially because, again, when it came to those smaller stages, those side stages, you weren't expecting what those bigger crowds were doing at some of those bigger stages with all the crowd servers, with the giant mosh pits and everything. But I have to give you guys credit, specifically Randall, for this, because during your guys' sound check before you guys started playing, I remember hearing Randall just constantly going like the check 1 2 kind of stuff, but then he was yelling at people that were walking in to come over and watch the set because there was going to be a mosh pit, there was going to be crowd surfing, like, you're going to want to be a part of this. And I remember sitting there because I was looking at my friend, I'm like, if there's any way that you're going to maximize your time, like, this is the way to do it. Just start basically calling people over, get them intrigued, and especially if you're going to call for a crazy show. It's like, someone like myself, if I didn't know you guys and I was walking past, I'm like hearing mosh pit, crowd surfing. Let me just walk over here and wait for this to start, even if I have somewhere to be. But I was already going to be there anyway. But it was just something where I don't think security was ready due to the fact that they had not experienced something on a smaller stage, like with what you guys were going to go with. Even though you warned them, it was just kind of that force of habit, that, what's the best way to put it, that embedded mindset where it's like, oh, they're going to say this, but it's not going to be true. And all of a sudden, within the first like 10 seconds of the song, of your set, all of a sudden stuff starts going. It's like, yeah, might need some more security over here just for the crowd surfers.
Well, they were not happy.
What was crazy to me is like, I still can't fathom, even looking at the pictures, like I can't process how many people we ended up in front of. When we started, they were maybe like 400 to 500. And by the end of the set, we're sitting there looking at like 5,000 to 6,000. Like, like I'm sitting there looking back at pictures. I'm like, dude, there's no way. And like all these people are hitting us up on Facebook and Messenger, and they're like, man, we heard you guys coming, or we were waiting for Wage War at the Stay Lit stage, and we said fuck it, and we came over next door, and it's just wild, dude.
Well, it did actually help the fact that you guys had Wage War on that Stay Lit stage right next to you, going on after you, because when it comes to the style of music, the fans, especially if they're going to be waiting for Wage War, they know what to expect from Wage War. They know that's not music, and they're going to be fans of it. So when they're going to hear you guys start playing and they're going to hear that energy, they're going to hear that metalcore style, what they're going to do is, there might be like, oh, instead of waiting over here for Wage War, why don't we actually go and participate in this, because we're going to get right back to where we're going to be anyway. We're right next to that freaking stage. It's not that far of a trek. So again, I do remember starting out and I was like, even starting out in front of like 500 people, like, this ain't bad. But then seeing how big that pit got, how many crowd surfers they were, and the fact that it went from like 400 to 500 to 5,000 to 6,000 by the end of it. Again, it wouldn't have happened if you guys didn't put on the show that you guys put on.
It's just mind blowing looking at the pictures, man. It's so wild. I can't get past that.
I'm still waiting for the thank you message from Seth Blake and the rest of Wage War for warming up that audience. I met Wage War before our set, and I was so excited to meet them. And if you look at the picture, you can see they were not excited to meet me. I'm like making a crazy face, and they're all like, "Who's this weirdo that we just found?" So.
Only for that weirdo to be one of the guys that ends up warming up the crowd for you, because even after you guys show going into that Wage War set, because I was there for that one, I was in the pit for that one, the energy level I thought the energy level for that show was even better than the energy level that was going to be at the band that was after Wage War, with those Beartooth. And of course, with Beartooth, you're going to get that high energy style all the time. But it was the energy that you guys provided. It just transferred over to that Wage War set to the point where, I mean, I remember being that pit. That pit was heavy. That pit was brutal, but it was so much fun. And a lot of that was the catalyst, because we were all warmed up, amped up, ready to go because of what you guys did right beforehand.
Means a lot, man.
Hell yeah, brother.
Yeah, I think the fans who really won, and a lot of it. I mean, you don't expect people to know who like the guitarist are. I mean, unless you are a guitarist. But like, so the area in between the Stay Lit stage and the hard support stage, there was like no security there. It was like artist area. So during Wage War, like right after, we're all standing there, and there's people crowd surfing and getting dropped in the middle. Well, these people are literally being caught by rock stars and not paying attention. Like Dylan from I Prevails over there, Connor from Beartooth. Like we're all like all these bands are trying to watch Wage War, and like just catching fans and putting them down. Those fans got their money's worth and didn't even realize what was going on.
Well, now I'm kind of mad that I didn't get to crowd surf during Wage War, because I could have literally fallen into you guys, been like, "What's up, guys? How's it going?" That would have been a funny ass introduction all of a sudden, because it would have been completely unexpected, but hilarious at the same time.
The best part, dude, just everybody in that little section was all like looking at each other like, "Yo, we don't work here," but we're just like trying to like make sure people don't like fall flat on their face.
But you see, when it comes down to it, when I said about like the biggest thing that made that festival like as memorable as it was the fact that the bands played as well as they did, and the fans were all into it and really had that family mentality. You guys just embodied that with that right then and there, where you guys were helping, catch fans that were crowd surfing and put them back down on the ground so that they didn't get hurt. And honestly, what other genre of music outside of rock and metal would have something like that happen, where bands are helping out, make sure that the fans are staying safe? I really don't know if there's one that would be like that, but it just speaks to the whole entire family vibe that is rock and metal.
Dude, I think you said it well in your podcast the other day when you said like this was not the fan-driven experience, this was the fan-fueled experience. Like all the bands were amazing, but like the fans being as cool as they were like what made this like such an awesome weekend. I can't believe like some of the people I met and the stories they told us, and it's like you're saying, like the way like people were looking out for each other and everything like that. It was dope.
It was something that was absolutely incredible, especially with some of the stuff, like some of the stories I have from some of those mosh pits as well, where all of a sudden it's, it was somewhere, the rule, you fall down, someone's going to pick you right back up. There were like 3 or 4 people immediately picking up anyone that fell down. And there were a couple of times where we did have a couple of crowd killers come in, start swinging, and actually connected with a couple of people. Yeah, we didn't take kindly to that, to the point where we basically drove them out of there. It's like, no, you're not going to do this here. And it's like, again, that's where that whole entire family vibe comes in. And again, with the story that you guys had told about how you connected with that, and with your friends in Dying Oath as well, who I had in the podcast right before you guys, kind of we went through that whole entire thing with how rock and metal is this one gigantic family. And they embodied it. You embodied it. Every single band that was there that weekend embodied that. And the fans really embodied that as well. So again, it was something where, again, the memories that are of so much positivity from that were because of the bands and because of the fans and how we interacted with each other. I don't know any other way to put it than that, I guess.
Oh, for sure.
I'd say it's the best time of my life.
No,
After you
it
found
was
your
the best
shoes.
time of his life after he found his fucking shoes.
Yes.
Fuck the shoes.
I lost my shoes for a day and a half.
And then
I walked
found them
around.
at the entire music festival.
Yeah, I found them like way outside, like a mile and a half out of the music festival, sitting next to a Porta John. I was like, oh my God. But this is, of course, right after Randall, on his way back in the second day, he bought me a pair of shoes so I could survive.
Doesn't shit like that always happen? Or all of a sudden it's, you lose something and then you get it replaced, and literally right after that happens, like, oh, you found it, but the fact they're next to a porta potty a mile and a half away and you still found them.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think you got to be proud of that, man.
It's like that movie Beer Fest with me. There's always something that happens.
You just got to get him drunk enough and he'll remember exactly where you left it.
Exactly right.
I lost myself Thursday night.
Yeah, we're walking and all of a sudden Mark's disappeared, and it's broad daylight. It's hard to lose someone. And
We're talking like the 2:00 band's on at this point.
yeah, it was like 3 to 5 hours later, he comes back to the RV like, where was everybody? I was looking for you.
When did I become Batman?
You're always
When you're
Batman.
inebriated.
You're always Batman. This is what Batman sounds like. But honestly, that happens, and because even with me, that first day, I still remember walking in there because two of my friends, they were like, we were trying to still figure out the camping situation, but they walked in early because my one friend, Josh, his band he wanted to see was Spirit Box. That was it. Like, he was sold
That was
on that.
mine.
So we made sure that he was going to see that. And I walked in there with the rest of my friends. We had seen maybe the second half of Spirit Box. I really didn't mind, though, because I got to see him the week beforehand here in Milwaukee when they got to open up for Falling in Reverse for a one-off show. So I'm like, well, at least I got to see him then. So I guess I'm good. But after that show, like, I got a call from somebody. So I quickly took a call for like 30 seconds. Turned around, all my friends were gone. I'm just like, well, let me make the most of this. So I ended up, I think I saw Adelita's Way, From Ashes to New, Ghost Inside, and A Day to Remember that day. Walked back to the campsite we were at. I got back at like maybe 10:30, 10:45, and my friends were there like, what happened to you? I'm like, I lost you guys, and I had a blast. That's what happened to me.
Yeah, dude, before we would go in, after the day we lost Mark, it was like, I felt the need to tell everyone, like, all right, we will lose each other. 100%. We cannot on each other. We have to all understand this and know how to get back to where we live, because we're definitely not going to stick together.
Honestly, that's just the life of a music festival, though. But it's something where I lost my friends a lot, and all of a sudden, like, I'd find them a couple of times. I found him, like, I got one to come to your guys' show, and after that, he was like, dude, I got to listen to more of this band. Like, where can I find more? I'm like, let me tell you, man. It was just fun as all hell to just see his face light up, because he had no idea who you guys were before we started driving from Milwaukee out to Virginia. My one friend showed him a bunch of your music, and he was pretty jazzed up to go see you guys. And all of a sudden, no one was wanting to go see me. I'm like, I just said, I'm going to see Season, so whoever wants to come with. I left, and all of a sudden, 2 minutes later, he's running behind me. He's like, wait up, man, I'm coming with you. I'm like, come on, Josh, let's go. And we made sure we were there, and I'm pretty sure you guys got a fan for life in him, along with probably like 3,000 or 4,000 other people at the bare minimum after you guys' set.
That was amazing. We literally could not I've never seen that happen before. Like, you literally can't get off stage without people trying to, like, get you to throw them your drumsticks or guitar picks and talk to you the whole time. And all the people on the stage are trying to rush us off and move our gear and all this stuff. And I'm like, we'll chat up at the tent later. But it was really cool. All the fans were awesome. We had like the longest line. We set up a tent for about an hour just to, like, talk with the fans and stuff like that. And I mean, it was a packed line the whole hour. pretty much.
It was over an hour. And here's what I thought was really cool. It was like we don't see ourselves as rock stars. And so a lot of us were sitting there eating. And Mark's wife, Megan, who's our merch manager, like we're all sitting there like stuffing our faces and like we can see like there's people. We're not really paying attention. We're not trying to ignore anybody. And we said we had made a plan to have a meet and greet from like 5:45 to 6:45. We're like, hey, we'll do this meet and greet and see what happens. We're all sitting there eating, and she turns around.
Like there's going to be like 10 people.
Yeah, she's like, guys, there's an entire line of people waiting, and they were just all waiting patiently too, like just letting us eat. And we're like, oh shit, like who the fuck are we? Like we gotta get up and go talk to people. Like it's crazy.
It was easily over 100 people.
Yeah, it was for an hour straight, at least. It was one person after another coming up. Hey, can we get a picture? Can we get something signed? There was there were a bunch of like pinch me moments that happened, at least for me. One lady said she was a chef and said she'd love to be our private celebrity chef. I was like, who do you think we are? That's amazing. I'm flattered. We were
somebody's third favorite band with POD and Led Zeppelin, I think, is what he named.
Yeah, one guy said his favorite bands in the world are I Prevail, Lamb of God, Megadeth, and Season. I was like, what? Yeah, like a bunch of like moments like that where it's like, there's no way this is real life.
Yeah, we had one guy, and like I'm not even saying we agree with this, but it's an honor just for one fan, dude. Just for one fan. There was a comment. Not gonna drop the guy's name, but there was a comment on Facebook, and he's like, well, Seasons didn't outdo Lamb of God, and we're all sitting there like, duh, no shit, we know this. And he was like, but they did outdo. They got Wage War, they got Beartooth, and we're sitting there like, we did what? Like I mean, if that's how they saw it, cool, man. Like I can't say we would ever say that, but like it's crazy.
I'll take it.
Yeah, I met Caleb from Wage War from backstage, and I was like, hey, have you ever heard of Seasons? He was like, no. I was like, I've heard of your band.
Okay. You should have said, yeah, I haven't heard of Beartooth either.
Beartooth, yeah, that sucks.
Probably been like, yeah, honestly, if you said you probably been heard of Beartooth, you'd probably be like, well, you probably would have been like, well, you know, if you ever heard of Attack, you might have seen me in there when I was younger, but that's about it, you know. Just kind of played it off like it was kind of funny. But because I remember I was gonna try and find you guys after the set, or I think I was either between Wage War and Beartooth, or right after Beartooth set. And I walked over to like where your merch tent was gonna be, and all of a sudden I see you guys like leave. I'm like, oh, what the hell happened? All of a sudden, I'm walking back to my campsite because I'm gonna get some food before Lamb of God, and I literally see Matt post a picture of him meeting Caleb Shaw. I'm like, that must have been where they went. Huh.
Oh, dude, no, he was so cool too. Like, I mean, I didn't like go out of my way. Like, I was just walking and like ran into him, and I'm like, Caleb, can we get a selfie? And he's like, what the fuck else are we gonna do? Absolutely. I was like, it was so cool.
But I think I'm not gonna lie on that comment that a person made where it's like, you know, you maybe outdid, you know, Wage War and Beartooth. I'm not gonna lie, especially with I saw all those shows as well. I tend to have to agree with them on that.
Wow,
I will take that.
Are you sure?
I am being serious about this because I mean I saw I think I looked at the list. I probably saw at the bare minimum 30 bands. And was actually like there for their full set. So I'm like, I was in the pits for, you know, every single one except for maybe Bad Flower, because Bad Flower didn't have a pit going because, well, Bad Flower doesn't really, you know, invoke a pit, but not gonna lie, that was a lot of fun just to watch as well. But when it came to just like that mentality of like my favorite moments of the whole entire festival, my favorite pits to be in, and just like the amount of energy that the crowd had and that the band responded in kind. You guys were really high up on that list, even higher than Wage War was and Beartooth was, just given the fact that, again, you guys created something where your crowd size grew from like 500-600 people, like 5,000-6,000 people. It grew 10 times as large from when you started to when you ended. And you don't do that if you put on a lackluster show. The energy was absolutely fantastic. The energy in the pit was absolutely incredible. Hell, there was a big dude that was wearing a yellow shirt from the band Caskets. I even looked at him like, dude, you know that band? And we just kind of were like, holy shit. He's having
That's
a great time
Carl.
with it as well. Is there a high five?
That's Crazy Carl.
That's Crazy Carl?
That's
Yeah.
our boy, Crazy Carl.
I think what's awesome at the testament, Nick has really worded it well before and said like, when our intro starts, whenever we start, everything clicks. But I think what we do, and it's every show, man, it's not just a festival experience. We don't care if it's 5 people, 5,000, 10,000, whatever, dude. But like, I think when we build our set, when we're practicing, we all talk to each other and we put ourselves, because we're fans first, man. Like we put ourselves, we're like, yo, if I buy a ticket to this show, what do I want to see? What do I want to be a part of? And let's invoke that. Let's make that fucking happen.
That's a good way to think about, because if I remember correctly, when you guys open up that show, you guys open up with Bounce, correct?
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, just especially with the way that it gets going from right with the intro with, just hearing Randall just yelling, all of a sudden you guys get into this more like upbeat party but heavy style metalcore sound. It's just, that's going to bring people right in because it's got the heavy and the roughness to really get the people moving, get people going, get the pick going. But it's got this fun kind of quality to it that's going to attract people to come in as well that might not necessarily be in for that heavier style. And then now that they're going to see that, they're going to be attracted in there to the point where all of a sudden you're going to go to some of your other songs. You're going to go to Killing Season as well. It's like, holy shit, now we're stuck in there. And I knew a lot of people that were there as well because I'm pretty sure, I was even wearing an Ice 9 Kill shirt that day. And you guys end up playing Killing Season. I'm like, ooh, look. Perfect shirt for this. Let's go. and everyone's just kind of like, wait a minute, what is this? I'm like, thank God it's Friday by Ice 9 Kills. I had a couple people like, yeah. I'm like, this is their version of a Friday the 13th song. Someone looked at me and said, is it good? And I just went, yeah. And they were one of the people that were just in the pit going nuts. And I'm just like, told you it was good at the end. And just, of course, get the big high five. Get the big bro hug, the massive slap on the back, and I'm just like, oh shit, because I was like wearing cutoffs most of the whole entire festival, so I had these massive just everyone was smacking my back every chance I get. So I'm like, ugh, it stings a little bit more. Ugh. But
I kind of felt bad for the people that came in later, and one of the guys, actually the festival owner from Metal in the Mountains, was there, and I guess he was working as a vendor. And he said that like we were one of the only sets that he saw, and he was like, well, he was like, you guys were amazing. He was like, but it kind of fucking sucked. And I was like, well, why? What happened? He's like, well, after the pit got going, there was so much fucking dust I couldn't see y'all. Like,
Yeah, it is like that in some of the videos too. All you see is nothing but people running around dust and like a black backdrop with their lights flashing, but makes it look crazier, I guess.
Makes it look like you're literally playing in a sandstorm or like in the, what is it? The first planet that's in the Star Wars Episode 4. Fuck, I can't even remember, I'm gonna
Tatooine.
I'm gonna end up getting roasted on YouTube for that one. But you know what? Whatever. At least you guys know what I'm trying to say.
I got you.
But yeah, I was just with how the pick getting going. Yeah, I could easily understand, like, especially the dust, because I had to breathe that in the whole entire time. I almost tapped out halfway through Lamb of God set because the dust was so bad. And I'm in the pit. I'm just like, how am I going to survive this? Especially because, like, I still got a couple more sets to go. All of a sudden, I see my one friend who I got to come to your guys' set, and he's 40, 50 pounds lighter than me. And he's, like, still jumping in the pit. I'm like, well, I can't let him beat me. It was all the motivation I needed to keep going. But I can either understand where some of those videos come in. However, it does kind of also create a little cool bit of a backdrop when you put that in there, because it's like, okay, who's this mystery band that might be playing this incredible set? But if you guys didn't put on that insane set and we didn't respond with the most, like, energy driven fan, fueled experience that we could have, that dust wouldn't have been there. So the dust is a byproduct of us going crazy because you guys put on one hell of a show.
It's like playing a rock concert in the Mad Max planet.
Oh yeah, I easily breathed in enough dust to poop out a Snickers bar.
how do you get dust and turn that into a Snickers bar?
Magical.
It is the wonderful world of Josh's digestive system and bowel movements.
It's nuts.
But still, again, like, I have to say it once again. You guys had, 25 minutes to play. I think you guys played 5 songs, but you guys used it the most efficiently that you could have. You guys went some of the hardest I've seen that whole entire festival, to the point where, again, You got a 10 times growth from when you guys started to when you guys ended. Who else can say that they ended up pulling that off?
I don't know.
That is pretty crazy.
I think for us too, for any the best way I can compare it, for anybody who played sports, man, it doesn't matter if it was football, baseball, any kind of contact sport. It's kind of like, man, we always do a huddle before we go out on stage anywhere. And it's kind of, Randall's a really excited little person anyway. And he's sick. That's why he's not here tonight. He's a little under the weather. But no, we just kept jabbing him, man. We're like, yo, it's almost kind of just kept hitting him. We're like, yo, it's 20 minutes. Like, let's go. Don't stop. It's just making sure we carry that level of energy from the time we take the first step on stage to the time we leave.
I think Matt said a minute ago, super accurate, that we're fans first. We're music fans first. And it's a pet peeve of mine. I'm a music fan. If I pay to go see a band that I'm excited to see, if they don't bring the energy, or even worse, if they look bored up there, that's like a huge pet peeve of mine. So whenever I go out, and I think it's true for all of us here, like, it's our mission to give you as the audience member everything we've got. Like, you paid for a ticket. These people paid for a ticket to Blue Ridge. And we'll be damned if we're not going to give it everything we've got to deliver, so that you walk away being like, yeah, that was worth my 20 minutes I spent over at this stage.
Oh, I absolutely agree with you 100% as a fan as well, because there are certain bands that I know of where it's like I'm more hesitant to buy a ticket to go see them a second or third time, because when I've seen them, it's just the energy level might not be there, and it's just something where I feel like, maybe I kind of wasted my money a little bit. I'm not going to name names on bands, though, because that's just not something I want to do at this moment. But when it comes to just those bands that, when you go and see them, if they give it their all, and it's just something where you can see, even, maybe there's a circumstance that's not going right for them, and they're trying to make the most situation, and you're going to put out that effort, the fans are going to see that. We're going to respond in kind, to the point where, I'm already wondering whenever the hell I can finally get to see you guys again, because after seeing you for that first time, I'm like, if this is what they did in the festival, what are they going to do with more of an enclosed setting as well? Would there be less people? Yes, but those people might be just even crazier, to the point where all of a sudden you could have one of those Lamb of God style pits where the whole entire room is the pit.
Dude, so we actually get in trouble quite frequently with promoters. There's a funny story. We don't obviously, we're never going to tell people to destroy things. 2019, we opened for All the Remains, direct support in Richmond at the Canal Club. And the promoter, not naming names, but the promoter was like, hey, you guys can't use your scrims or anything like that. Or they didn't want any kind of production, anything to prevent upstaging All the Remains in any sort of way. And so by the end of the set, dude, same reaction. There's people crowd surfing. There's literally people slinging beer, water, fucking everything. And we get off stage, and the promoter comes over mad as shit, dude. And he's looking at me and Randall, and he's like, why the fuck did you tell him to do that? And I'm like, did you ever hear any of us tell these motherfuckers to do that? We didn't say throw beer. We didn't say crowd surf. And he's like, well, you can't do that. And I'm like, why? Because we made your headliner look like, and we love All the Remains. It's not saying anything bad, but it's we get in trouble a lot, dude. It's all about chaos, and it's the fan show. Like Nick said, dude, you bought a ticket. It's not our show. It's your show. That's it.
Yeah, and again, when it comes to the business side of things, I can understand the point where, especially from the promoter side, where they want to make sure that the headliner, is the headliner, is the shining light of that show. However, if you guys are just going up there and playing, and that's how the fans are responding, that's kind of on somewhere. It's now you got to look at the headliner. It's okay, this band went up, played, they gave it their all, and you guys didn't do any sort of direction of okay, can we get this crazy pit? Can you guys start throwing stuff? You guys go crowd surfing, whatnot. You guys did none of that, but the fans connected with the music. We're having so much fun that they responded with that way in kind. So all of a sudden, it's by the time All the Remains comes on, I hope that the fans end up responding in kind as well, like they did with you, because All the Remains is a great band, and they have the music easily, and they have that energy to make something like that easily happen without fail.
Oh, they did, man. They brought it the whole show. It was just funny because, like I said, the promoter comes up to us. He's like, you guys can't do that. And we're like, what the fuck did we do? We didn't do anything. Like one of my favorite sayings in the world, man, is like, bands make music, but fans make the band. That's the truth, man.
Yeah, and if you're gonna see reactions like that when you guys go up on stage, then I mean, you guys are the ones that are making that experience happen. But then again, the fans are the ones that are making that experience whole. Because
I'm so jealous of Mark, man. Mark does the cool thing that he was upset he couldn't do at Blue Ridge. Mark, you should get into that.
What cool thing that I couldn't do?
Inner Ruin, man. We didn't play that.
Yeah, that would have taken some planning ahead of time. For Inner Ruin, I like to go into the crowd and play. Couldn't have done that without a wireless. But also, that there was like a good 5 foot gap between the stage and the barricade. So I'd had to figure out how to actually get out there and get back. So that would have taken some planning on my part.
Hearing Nick now say that he like contemplated jumping into the crowd, I kind of want to rewind and be like, dude, can you make that gap and effectively land on your back on these people's hands?
We'll have to find out next time.
I think I could do it, but I would not be able to make it back.
He's just going to float out over the sea of bodies until his guitar loses signal.
Bye, Nick.
Yeah, then all of a sudden it's like, no, pull me back. That's where I need to be in the crowd. Be like, pull him back, everybody. What? Send him back. Why? The signal.
Yeah. Too far away. 100 feet.
Dude, I think the coolest video I've ever seen was the Kill Switch Engage video. It's like Adam D. Like, it's during the end of Heartache. And Adam D, like, literally, wherever the fuck they were, he gets off stage. You can look it up on YouTube. And he goes over to the bar. This motherfucker is sitting there playing the end of Heartache while eating pizza and drinking beer. And, like, he gets to the little part where it's the little, like, hammer-on pull-off part. And he looks at the fans. He's like, watch this shit. And, like, he's sitting there, like, just playing. And then he's like, all right, guys, got to go. Take a sip of the beer and puts it down and runs back to the stage. I'm like, that's fucking amazing.
Oh, my God.
That guy's wild.
Okay, I got to go find that online now after this podcast because
it should be hard to find, yeah.
Just look up Adam D drinking with fans.
No, I definitely will because that just sounds like a fantastic time to pull something like that. But damn.
I'm waiting for Mark to do that. Mark goes into the crowd. I'm waiting for Mark just to be at the bar. I'm like, yo, you got a beer? Like, watch this shit. Like,
honestly, Mark, if you got a chance to do it, do it. I mean, whenever I get to see you guys next, if it's at one of those smaller club shows, honestly, please go and do it because I'll probably be if you let me know, I'll be the one waiting in the bar with a beer in hand. It's like, here you go, man. Like, yeah. I'll have it all set up, ready to go. I mean, we can coordinate on this, man.
I am down.
Hey, one thing I promise, dude. We all promise. Everybody, this band has tried like 2 times, and COVID be damned, but third time's the charm. We promise we will see y'all on the road in 2022. That's happening.
It is happening?
It is happening.
Is any locations already figured out, or is that going to be a secret? Because, well, I got to start making some. If you guys are going to go on the road in 2022, I got to start making some plans, man.
I think we got some ideas.
Yet.
We got some ideas of places we want to go and places. And I know, like, for one thing, dude, if we don't go to Florida, like, that whole state's going to come hunt us down. Like, we have to go to Florida at some point. Those motherfuckers are getting mad. But.
Oh, I understand as well, especially with MVK being based in Florida as well. It's you're going to go down there. They're going to end up helping you guys, find the places you need to play at and end up helping you guys maybe construct, like, a bill for that even as well, along with the promoters as well, to have something where you're going to have a show where, you're going to have that crazy kind of setting and it's going to work out incredible. Hell, maybe, you end up put, like, especially with how you guys are able to control the crowd and get something crazy like that happening with so many mosh pits, crowd service, things being thrown around. Honestly, if you guys are able to go that crazy and open up for, let's say, a Day to Remember, I mean, their live sets, they're going to create that exact same sort of energy as well. You guys, it's like, oh, they created, Seasons came in and they just went all out and just did all this shit. Oh, but then A Day to Remember comes on to headline it. Oh, people are going to be amped up for all that. Okay, they're not upstaging A Day to Remember. They're literally preparing them as best as possible. Like, these fans are going to be already set and ready to go after a crazy ass set from Seasons.
See, and then there's stuff out towards your way too. I know we got a lot of vested interest in Ohio, Indiana. There's So we gotta really map stuff out, and I think figure it out, like where the fuck we want to go and with who.
That is always a thing with who as well, because I'll put it this way to you guys. What I figured out from this year, from my last couple of weeks, because, well, with shows being back, I've been traveling all over the place. If you guys are within at least like within 2 hours of where I'm at, it's very easy for me to get to a show at any given time at any given day. So for me, I mean, I'm from Milwaukee, so that's easy. Go up to Green Bay, Wisconsin, go up to Madison, Wisconsin, hell, anywhere in Chicago, done. It's easy, done.
It's good to know.
So I always have to throw Chicago out there because it's like, well, it's the third largest city in America. A lot of rock and metal acts always end up going through there because it's just the way the fans are. It's all of a sudden, it doesn't seem like, it doesn't seem like rock and metal's on top at all. But then you go to some of these shows, it's like, why do they always sell out? Why are the crowds always absolutely insane? Well, here in the Midwest, we love that shit.
Let me ask you this then, because we've been asking people, and by all means, hit us up later, but just put it out there on the podcast. Like, man, where's the go-to venue, like, in those states? Like, what's your favorite venue to go see a show? Like, where should we be looking?
Ooh, okay. So let me think about this. So I'll give you a couple of different, like, cities that I know of. So, because I'll start with the Minneapolis, St. Paul area as well, because that's where I went. I went to school up there. So, and it's, again, the Twin Cities metro area. It's a large area, so definitely a place for you guys to go. For a bigger show, honestly, First Ave, it's historic. It's got great sounds. It's got a great sound, great history. So definitely go there. Varsity Theater is right next to the University of Minnesota campus. I know Ice Nine Kills has played there a couple of times. They've had Black Veil Brides there, so I know they have some sort of a setting there. I'm not sure how necessarily big it is. Otherwise, if you can get on like a gigantic, like as a support of like a gigantic tour that's going to be playing at the Armory, which is basically just an old hockey barn that can hold up to 8,400 people. Yeah,
Nice.
you guys could definitely make something like that happen. We'll go to Green Bay, Wisconsin now. They have this new venue called Epic Event Center. That's one that I typically, I finally went to the first time about middle of September to see Ice Nine Kills. And not going to lie, for a venue, it's like, bar is massive. They got just open floor concept, and you can do pretty much anything you want around there. So you guys could create one hell of a set around that. In Madison, Wisconsin, I prefer the Sylvie for that exact same reason. Here in Milwaukee, for you guys, I'd give you two. If it's something that's going to be in a bigger tour, I would definitely go with the Rave, because you got three different venues. You got the Rave Eagles Ballroom, which is where a lot of those bigger bands play. Like, I'm going to be seeing A Day to Remember there in October with Asking Alexandria. Or there's the club level, or there's the basement level. The basement level, if you guys are playing the show by yourselves, like, the basement level might be where you guys could pull off something like that, because basement fits maybe about 1,000, 1,500 people, and it's just flat ground, stage, that's it. So I've seen some crazy ass shows there. Or for a smaller setting, X-Ray Arcade. It's here in Milwaukee as well. It's in a little suburb called Cudahy. It's a smaller venue, but I've seen some crazy ass shows there from some like smaller punk bands. I was supposed to go see Bad Omens there, but that was the first show that got canceled during the pandemic. Going into Chicago, though, there are so many places you could go to. My favorite is always the Aragon Ballroom, but I don't know exactly how they're running the ship there. The Metro is always a good place to go. House of Blues. I was just at the Forge in Joliet, Illinois to see Ice Nine Kills. That is another one that you guys could go to. It's a little bit further south. It's like the southwest suburb of Chicago, but it's a smaller venue. However, again, it's something where the sound quality is absolutely incredible. And the fans, they go hard. Especially, I'm not going to lie, especially if I get in that pit, because, well, I can have some fun with that. So there's maybe about 10 or 11 venues that you guys could check out over the span of like Wisconsin and Chicago and Minneapolis.
Yeah.
A lot.
Just giving you guys some ideas. That's all I'm here to do. But mostly it's because, well, I really want to see you guys play live once again, because, again, my God, that set was freaking awesome.
It'll be nice to play a 7/8 song set again. We've been playing festivals recently, so having a full set will be refreshing.
Oh, absolutely. Or, I mean, aren't you guys going out, like, playing some shows throughout the rest of the year as well? that are going to be more of those longer sets as well outside of those like festival sets?
They one more.
Just one more for 2021? What the hell? There's got to be more.
We're working on an EP, which might kind of translate into a full album. Maybe we talked about this last night. Mark and Josh were not able to be there, so surprise. But I mean, we talked about it before. there's a lot of new music coming, man.
Okay, now that makes a lot more sense. But that also has me even more intrigued because I'm hearing new music from the guys in Seasons. So everyone, if you saw them at Blue Ridge and you're like, holy crap, I want to hear more of them. I want to hear more of their music. I want to see them, and hear them come out with some new stuff. We got new stuff on the way? Yes!
Yeah, boy.
I think the one that's in the studio right now is probably the most mature thing we've ever written.
Yeah, we're working on a sweet acoustic folk album.
Acoustic hip-hop folk.
We got a song about...
Mark's trying to get an 87 string guitar.
Yes, more genty.
The gentier and the poppier and the folkier, the better, baby.
Yes.
I'll say this. I'll give you a little preview. You can let your imagination run. The one we were working on last night, the best way that I can possibly describe it is if you combine like Motionless in White and Volumes. Like that was that's kind of what came out, or Motionless in White and Burials, whichever way you want to take that. Like it's pretty crazy.
Okay, now you're letting my mind really run on that, especially because of how much I really enjoy Motionless in White, especially with a lot like the 2017, 2019 stuff, and of course their initial album with Creatures, just really putting that like gothic style to the metalcore as well. And when it comes to you guys, I can easily see you guys being able to pull that off, especially after what you guys did with Killing Season, because when it comes to really trying to, again, evoke the emotion, evoke the overall mindset and sound that would match up with that movie and the whole entire series as well, you guys were able to accurately do that as well as Ice Nine Kills did. And, when it comes to anything with horror movie magic and music, I mean, that's the gold standard right there. And you guys are right on par with what they did as well in terms of translating the emotion and just the feeling of the movie into a song. So if you guys are going to bring in some motion, like, Motion White meets Volumes, I'm thinking might be some gothic metalcore stuff in there.
This is actually Nick's baby, man. Like Nick wrote this song. He can talk about it, I mean, obviously, but like he wrote it and like we kind of like put it in the spank bank with 47 million other ideas that we have. And he brought it up last night. He's like, hey, why don't we work on this one? And sure enough, we did, and off we go.
All right, because now, Nick, I'm rather intrigued by this. So if you've got more to share, I'm all ears.
Yeah, this is going to be the lead single of our acoustic folk album. About the struggles of being Amish and not having PlayStation because of you're Amish.
But it exists because of Rumspringer.
Rumspringer! Woo! Had to throw that in there. But, well, now, I mean, you're just going to let my mind and imagination run wild to the point where when you guys finally release this thing, I'm just going to be like, must hear this. Must show more people this because, well, I mean, my mind's already running with the possibilities of what this could sound like.
He's going to be really disappointed when it really is folk.
We're going to have a solo.
What was that?
We're going to have a bagpipe solo.
Okay, don't knock the bagpipe solo. Bagpipe solo can be freaking legit as all hell.
Oh, this one's going to be pretty legit. You're going to be impressed. You're going to like it.
I mean, I've heard some wacky instrumentals really put, or just like some unconventional instrumentals put into different songs that don't feel like they fit. I mean, earlier in the year, I had Bert from the band Chunk No Captain Chunk on the podcast. We talked about his surprise on one of their songs where it was, again, like more of like a pop punk, like that easy core kind of style. All of a sudden, the breakdown, you're expecting something heavy. Saxophone solo, baby.
That's silly.
That's different.
It was completely different, but when I listen, I'm like, this fits so well. So if you guys put in a bagpipe solo and metalcore song, you know what? If it fits, that's all that matters.
Fucking send it.
I'm already thinking, like, looking at Matt over here. He's like starting to see the wheels turn in his mind. Like, okay, maybe we're gonna start.
Someone with a bagpipe.
Hey, that's kind of my thing anyway, dude. Like it's funny because like I was the original guitarist of the band, and like Mark and Nick are way better than me. I actually stepped down because like Mark was coming in during lineup changes. I landed at bass. Well, like my whole thing, man, like is like strong song structure and putting stuff together. So most of the time, like last night, I didn't even play. Right, Randall was the original drummer, which it helps having two drummers. Because Josh was under the weather, so I'm just sitting there watching them coming up with ideas. The three of us are just sitting there bouncing ideas off of each other. By the end of the night, I think we got like 1 minute and 50 seconds into writing this. Like I wanted to like throw myself through a door. Like it's so, it hits so hard, man. It's so beautiful.
See, now you're saying within 1 minute 50 seconds, you want to run through a door and just go absolutely nuts. And that makes me think where my mind is going with this is, okay, now I want to hear this song. I want to make sure I hear it live, because if this is going to make me want to run through a door, this is going to make me want to run through as many people as possible in the pit, but all of a sudden there's going to be people running at me as well. So look out, everybody. We're going to have some fun with this one.
I know Mark's sitting on some really heavy shit, dude. We got like this EP or album, whatever the hell we do. It's going to be interesting for sure.
And it's going to be different. Some things are going to be softer, and then some things are going to be a whole hell of a lot bigger.
But in the end, I think that might be a smarter move for you guys to go with, because if you're going to go with some stuff that's heavier, some stuff that's softer, it's going to show more of the range you guys are able to work with as seasons. So again, you can end up potentially reaching some other groups of fans that you might not have normally reached with the music you have out right now. However, as long as you still stick with what makes you guys special at the core of your music, as you experiment with some lighter sounds, some heavier sounds as well, that'll be the key to, still connecting everything together to the point where people still listen. It's like, okay, this might be lighter, this might be heavier, this might be a little bit darker, this might be a little bit, soft, whatever it might be, but it's still seasons at the core, and it's still a hell of a lot of fun to listen to, and a hell of a lot of fun to be at a live show and, be in that crowd surfing, be in that pit, throwing beer around, having a blast, and everyone just like, whoa, this is awesome. Why is this band not bigger yet? Because, well, it'll happen. Just got to take some time.
We need fans like you to like Stone Cold Steve Austin us like with beers. Like we just need to put our hand up and like have a fucking like
beer me.
Yeah.
Dude, I'm so serious about this. If you are at the next show, Kevin, that you're at of ours, I want you to do that to me. I want you to like come up, like I'll be playing some riff or something. I just want you to Stone Cold me. I'll be like, ah.
You know what? We will make that happen, because the next time I get to go and see you guys live, what I'll do is I will let you guys know, and we will figure it all out there, because what I'll do is have a beer ready for you, Nick. So all of a sudden you're going to be playing, you can stick your hand up and I'll just throw it your way, catch it, just Stone Cold it right then and there. And then all of a sudden, like a song later, all of a sudden, here comes Mark walking off stage, goes right to the bar, and there's me with a beer right in hand, just give it to him, just done. And then I'll do something with Matt, do something with Josh, get something together with Randall. So all of a sudden it's like every single song, all of a sudden something really wacky is happening from some random guy that's, normally in the middle of the pit, but all of a sudden he jumps out and it's like, where the heck did he go? Okay, now he's throwing a beer to Nick. Okay, now he's got a beer ready for Mark. Now what the hell are him and Matt doing? Okay, Josh just threw his drumstick and hit him right in the face. Oh, is there going to be a problem there? Nope, this was all planned because, well, doesn't matter. Or, Matt tries spinning his bass, ends up detaching, hits me in the face. It's like, well, now all of a sudden Loudwire's talking about it. Kerrang's talking about like, oh, watch this band. All of a sudden, what's going to happen to them? After that, next day, we jump on a podcast and I've got like a broken note that's like, what's up, guys?
Bass player tries to murder fan with bass.
I'm a believer in like all PR. Like, I don't care if people shit post, talk shit about us, whatever. Like, but like, I don't want to be known for that. Like, bass player throws bass into a crowd because he's retarded.
Yeah, but if for some reason you would throw your bass guitar into the crowd, and if it would accidentally hit somebody, make sure it hits me, because what's going to happen. I'm going to end up creating a podcast about it with you guys. Be like, look at what you did to me. You okay with it? Yeah, I'm okay. No biggie. What's up?
Dude, like I'm just like a tall dude. Like I'm not big at all. Like I thought Randall was ready to fuck me up. Like we played Metal in the Mountains and I accidentally hit him. And like we got off stage. And he's like, "What the fuck?" I'm like, "Sorry, dude. I'm sorry." I'll talk to the bass before. I'm like, "Make sure you hit Kevin. Make sure you hit Kevin."
I just launch it. It's like, okay, all of a sudden, even if it's like not directing like on my course, all of a sudden I might just have to like jump in front of it just to all of a sudden. Okay, now it's like he threw his bass crowd, but some dude actually like launched himself into it. Okay, what's the deal here? Nope, it's just Kevin. It's fine. This was talked about, and if it was something where if it wasn't gonna happen, Kevin was gonna make sure if someone was gonna get hit in the face with a bass, it was gonna be him.
Hey, Josh has a plethora of drumsticks back there too. I mean, we got weapons for days.
Oh well,
we don't have shoes for days.
I'll say, well, what Josh can also do is all of a sudden you have all those drumsticks. Of course, you walk off stage, everyone's like, oh, throw your drumsticks in the crowd. And all of a sudden, Josh, at that point, you got all the power. Just be like,
I actually almost hit somebody in the head with the Frisbee at Blue Ridge because I got to throw out like 2 or 3 Frisbees into the crowd just to get them, excited. Because we were short on time. I was supposed to go on there first and start the song and then, get the crowd hyped up, throw the Frisbees, but they're like, just go now. And I was like, oh, okay, well, everybody starts hooking up and I just start throwing Frisbees. And I mean, there's a couple people who weren't paying attention and I was like, oh my God. But
Bam!
I missed, and then I threw my sticks. I was like, oh, I feel dirty for doing this. Don't hurt anybody. I'm just gonna sling it.
Lightly toss it.
Talking about shit like that, like accidentally like hurting people, like I definitely I could point him out if I find him in a picture or a video, but there's this dude in the pit, like, and I don't know if he got the wind knocked out of him or something. Like I distinctly remember, like I saw somebody get hit so hard, like I kind of fucked up playing. Like there's a note in the video, like you can hear it. Like I just stopped because like for a second, like I saw this person get hit and I was like, oh shit. Like and then I remembered I was playing. I was like, oh shit, I gotta play. But I don't know if they had any moments like that, but there was definitely a moment like I saw something and like literally stopped playing for a second. I was like, holy fuck, that dude got checked. Oh fuck, I'm supposed to be playing.
Oh, there's plenty of videos like that from that day. I want to see that video, though, of that happening, if you guys have that, mostly because I want to see, A, if I was the one that got hit, or B, if I was the one that actually hit the guy. I want to see that happen, because there was a video that Dying Oath had sent me from when someone literally just got, like, yeeted through the crowd, where they got hit so hard they went parallel to the ground and flew about 5 feet before they landed. And then I was looking at that video, I'm like, okay, where am I in this one? I'm like, okay, I'm way on the other end. And I was kind of mad because I was like, darn, that wasn't me who got yeeted or did the yeeting. Oh, well, what you going to do?
Maybe next time.
Maybe next time. But, I mean, there have been some of those crazy moments in the pit. But it's just somewhere... we all know what happens when we jump in those pits. We know what can possibly happen. We know the risk. So if something happens, it's like, it happened. We understand it. Unless if someone like full on crowd killing, it's like, okay, no. This was not what we're here for. But if it's somewhere, I mean, I've had that happen before. All of a sudden, I get knocked down, I get picked back up, and all of a sudden, somebody trips, goes head-to-head contact with me, and the whole entire underside of my left eyebrow was split open. I wasn't mad at the guy. I just told him to get me the fuck out of the pit because, well, I didn't want to bleed over everybody. This is the whole thing. It's like, I just don't want to bleed over everybody, but I need help getting out of here because, well, I got blood running down my face. Just give me a hand, man. Just give me a hand.
Classic.
It's
Mark,
classic.
have you ever hit anybody with your guitar when you go in the pit?
Me?
Yeah. Have you ever accidentally hit somebody?
Probably.
I'm sure I have, but people are usually pretty supportive of me going out into the crowd. And once they realize what's going on, they either circle pit around me or I get about 4 or 5 guys who are just doing like shredder hands around me and then just like headbanging and making sure no one does fuck with my guitar. So I usually have pretty good luck.
Usually when guys jump into the pit and something like that happens, like if you jump in the pit, usually one of those 2 things will happen where you're playing, you want to jump in with us. We're going to try and do the best as possible and make sure that you keep doing what you're doing. So you keep jumping the pit with us and no one ends up falling into you or ends up, get hitting you because of course the circle pit will form, no problem. But we just don't want to have anyone knocking you and all of a sudden you fall over, your guitar falls on the ground, something breaks. We don't want that to happen.
Now I have forced it the other way though. I've played a couple shows where people weren't awake yet, and this is like song 2 or 3 in the set, and this is my time to go out into the crowd. So I start the pit while playing. I'm like, if you're not going to fucking move, I'm going to move you while playing. And I just start running into people with the guitar. And eventually they start fucking doing it. And I'm like, all right, cool. Now I can just go back to normal. That's happened a couple times.
Dude, that is the freaking move. Oh my God. And again, when it comes down to it, it's you guys are trying to create that energy so that we create the energy and just keep going back and forth to the point where all of a sudden by the end of your set, you guys have given it your all and we have gone crazy in the pit. We've thrown all the, stuff that we can just to kind of get things going and having a great time. Crowd servers going everywhere. If people aren't moving or people are kind of still sleepy and you got to do something about it, man, that's one cool way to do something about it. Well, because what other band's gonna do something like that where all of a sudden their guitarist is gonna jump into the middle of the crowd and start the pit literally while he's playing? That's a memory that people are gonna remember forever.
Yeah, it's pretty fun too.
I don't doubt it, which is why I have to see you guys play live again because man, I don't want to miss out on it again.
I'm gonna throw down the gauntlet. I don't even know if you can make it, but like one thing that always impresses us with our fan base and friends, and it's more so family, man. We call people family. People drive from like way the fuck away, or they will fly in. Like I know for the show we have, the next show is we're playing with GFM, talking about your hoodie, but October 23rd, man. And like, dude, there's people coming from fucking Indiana, people coming from Florida, people coming from Massachusetts, from Pennsylvania. Dude, people do this shit all the time, and we're like, these people drive or fly to come see us at a home show because we can't tour this year, and it's just wild. And actually, the venue that we're playing at, talking about fun moments with Mark, he didn't even realize this was going on. Last time we played this venue, we were sound checking with Killing Season. And I think dude, that song is in like what, A sharp, I believe.
Yeah,
it's low, but we hit the first note and we break the fucking ceiling, dude. Like the ceiling tile falls down behind Mark, dude, it's like snowing, and like Mark has no clue. Like the rest of us are sitting there, like, dude, look behind you. And he's finally, Mark's like, yo, what the fuck are you talking about? It turns around and it's all in front of his amp. Like there's just broken ceiling tile everywhere.
What the hell is going on?
Oh my God. Okay, yeah. If you guys are gonna end up pulling off that at the venue, yeah, I definitely kind of want to be a part of that. But that's October 23rd, you said?
It's far away, man. I mean, we don't expect it. It's just wild. It's just like, hey, dude.
Costume party.
Well, the thing that kind of intrigues me about it as well is like not only the fact that you guys are playing, but GFM is playing as well, and I know the kind of power they put in with their set and how energized that gets going. So I'm like, okay, this might have to be a little bit of a trip because the 23rd, it's a Saturday. Ooh,
it is us. It is GFM. It is Hollow Intent from Wilmington, North Carolina.
Oh God! I talked about them. I talked about Hollow Intent with Dino the day before we shot this one as well because they were talking highly about them, and I've heard some of their stuff, but I know I know I have to reach out to them. I want them on the podcast at some point, but got to make sure that my schedule actually aligns after having the week we're shooting this. It's like I'm either shooting a podcast or I'm going to a show or I'm shooting a podcast. I have to deal with my friend getting married as well and kind of putting that all together. So I got to get them on the podcast at some point soon. Maybe after the show with you guys, because then I can talk about the show with you guys. The show they're going to do earlier or in October with Dying Oath as well. Talk about so much stuff with those guys. Yikes!
Did you catch Artusia at Blue Ridge?
I did not, unfortunately.
They're on the bill too. So it's us, GFM, Hollow Intent, Artusia, and then I don't know if you're familiar. There's a band called Unknown. They're from like DC, but their vocalists put together like this kind of like super group. It's kind of like it sounds weird. I don't know how to describe it. It's actually really fucking good. The band's name is Southern Slop, and it's like just like Southern metal, dude. It's bad fucking ass. Like it's awesome.
Well, shit. I might have to come out for this now. Like you're making it really hard for me not to want to be out there for that.
I'm going to tell GFM on you and be like, Kevin's thinking about it. Y'all should pressure him.
Honestly, please do, because the more pressure there is on it, the more likely I'll end up being like, they don't think I'm to come. I'll show them. and then all of a sudden just show up there. Literally, probably just like all of a sudden walk to the venue because, it'll be October, might be a little cool outside. Might have to wear a certain sweatshirt into the venue, and all of a sudden, next thing you know, Pitt's going to be going crazy, and I'm going to be in the middle of it.
Dude, people surprise us, dude. Like exactly like that. We're like, man, because I'm sure you go to enough shows, you talk to enough bands to know, and it's not saying this is about you at all, but like you hear this stuff, everybody's like, yeah, I'm coming, and you're like, no, they're not, dude. There's like fucking 15 hours away, and then next thing you know, it's just like that. Like you turn around and you're walking in the building, it's like, holy fuck, dude! Like you came from like, oh my god.
Oh, I'm aware of that as well because it was so when I got to see Ice Nine Kills, I saw him 4 times in the span of 2 weeks. The band Fame on Fire was also on that same bill as well, and I've had their lead singer Brian on the podcast. I had him on right before Blue Ridge, so on the last show, like because I talked to him, I want to say hi, say what's up, try and pay up in the first rounds on me thing, and I finally see him during the last show right at the end, and he looks at me, he's like, dude, I gotta ask, how many of these shows have you seen? I'm like, I think 4 in the past 2 weeks. Just looks at me, he's like, are you crazy? I'm like, no, I'm just addicted to this stuff. Like, this is too much fun for me. I didn't know any other way to put it outside of I'm just addicted to this shit.
There's
That is
worse
awesome.
to be addicted to.
Wait, what was that, Nick?
I said there are worse things to be addicted to.
There are plenty of worse things to be addicted to. I mean, hell, when I'm crazy. It's like all of a sudden when I see a mosh pit, I'm just like, ooh, mosh pit. Yay, me. So I'm always happy about that. But honestly, Matt, please, tell GFM I might be thinking about coming out to that show because if they put the pressure on, then we can make that happen.
I'll hit up everybody. I'll tell Will from Hollow Intent to hit you up. But like, yo, Kevin said he wants to talk to you anyway, man. You should just pressure.
It'll get to the point where I'll be like, I'll show you guys, and I'll end up showing up there. So, guys, as we kind of start bringing this podcast to a close, honestly, I do want to end up trying to go out and see that show. So keep putting the pressure on because next thing you know, October 23rd is going to roll around. I'll be there.
Hey, if you make that trip, I personally guarantee you, I got a shirt waiting for you, man.
Hey, wouldn't it be funny if we dressed like GFM for Halloween?
For Halloween.
That is good.
That is actually a really good idea, not going to lie.
We will not look as good as they look, though. That's not going to happen.
But it would be really funny.
It would be hilarious. But who's who, though? There's only 3 of them. There's 5 of us. What the fuck?
I don't know, but I would give them my like denim vest and like my bandana and my outfit. One of them to be me.
Honestly, that could be something you guys coordinate for that show. All of a sudden, it's like, okay, we're going to dress like each other. It's going to be full on Halloween. It's going to be great.
That would be pretty fucking awesome. I don't know where one goes to buy black and pink cheerleading outfits, though.
Just ask them. That's going to be the best way to do it. Just ask them.
I bet that shit's really expensive, though. Like, being honest, like they probably put a lot into what they do.
Yeah, sure.
Oh, easily they do. And not only that, but I got to go see him. I'm kind of putting the pressure more on myself because I like to have them on the podcast every single year. And it's usually at the end of the year. So that gives me more stuff to talk about along with throwing cupcakes at people because they let me do it. Yeah. So maybe I'll be able to do it again. And all of a sudden throw cupcakes at the crowd and then throw beer to you guys.
I assure you, you can do that. And all 4 of us will stand in a line with our mouths open, waiting for a cupcake to hit it.
Now, would Randall also follow suit or no?
Oh, yeah.
Randall's like the ringleader, dude.
Yeah, he'd be leading the operation.
He'd be the first one.
He's like super quiet. Like he sees something funny and he's like the guy that like, he puts it all together behind the scenes and nobody knows it's him pulling the strings. But he's like, yo, this is fucking hilarious. We're going to do this.
He's the puppet master. Wow.
Pretty much.
Well, damn. Okay, you guys keep putting the pressure on Ari. So as we bring this podcast to a close, there's always a time now where I'd like to give you guys a chance to say whatever you want to say, plug whatever you want to plug at this given moment. So guys, floor is yours to close this one out.
Traíte la mía birra para calor.
Yeah, what Nick said.
Yeah.
What the whole entire fuck did Nick say?
I really don't know, but I can close this out with a couple of different things. First off is this. Of course, like the first time I had Seasons on, you're going to want to get in the know with them. Hell, I just talked about how great that live show was at Blue Ridge and how, I'm really already starting to think about and really putting the pressure on myself to go out and see that show in Virginia on the 23rd. So you're going to want to follow along with them. Plus, they're going to have new music coming out. You're going to want to stay in touch with them. You're going to want to follow along on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. You're going to want to join the street team. Yes, I am a part of that, so I'm going to put that in the description of the podcast as well for people to join that as well. YouTube, Spotify, Apple Music, whatever it might be, website, merch. You can go and support these guys as much as possible. All the links will be in the description of the podcast, along with a link for that show on the 23rd. So if you're in Virginia, I implore you, no, I demand that you go see that show. But please leave it, at the bare minimum, just one ticket left, because let me buy it, please. If with enough pressure, please, just give me the option. Just let me have the option, please. And then thing number 2, you guys remember from the first time I said first mate to see you, first rounds on me. Well, got to see you the first time and could not find you guys because right when I went to the 10 all I saw you guys run up. I'm like, oh, I don't know what the hell's going on there, but it looks like I'm going to miss out on them. But next time, not only, like I said first round on me, but I'm going to end up throwing you guys beer during the show anyway. So we'll coordinate with that and it'll be on me. Now. Yeah, we got a whole plan. This is a whole plan. We came up with the whole plan.
If you make that trip, I got to say we got to counter, man. If you make that trip, first round's on us. Like, come on, man. Let's go.
If you make that trip, first round is on Matt.
Well, they'll make that happen. Well, guys, and then as we close this out once again at the last moment, I cannot end this podcast with goodbye because I love always talking to you guys. Seeing you guys live at Blue Ridge was absolutely incredible with the fact that you guys took that 25 minutes and made the absolute most of it. So I want to see you guys play even more. Plus, we got plans for me to throw you guys beer during the show at some point. So hopefully it'll be on the 23rd and it'll be like, surprise, beer, 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 beer on stage. And all of a sudden just, so you guys can stone cold them or see whatever the hell you guys are going to do with them. I might have to throw Randall too so we can literally do the full stone cold and just call it a day.
Dude, he will. Randall will definitely do that.
Oh, I know he will. That's why I thought about doing it. So, again, guys, this ain't goodbye because I want to see you guys perform again. I want to have you guys back on the podcast again when that EP or album is ready to drop so we can talk all about it. So, it's not goodbye, guys. It's see you later.
See you later, man. Thank you.
See you guys. Well, folks, that was my interview with the guys in the band Seasons out of Virginia once again. My God, I love talking to guys. I love, being able to talk to them, hang out with them, do this kind of stuff. Their music is incredible. Their live shows incredible. And please, please, please put the pressure on me to see them live on October 23rd with my friends in GFM as well out in Richmond, Virginia. Yes, I'm from Milwaukee, Wisconsin. Yes, it'll be a little bit of a ways to get out there, but sometimes you just got to make it happen, baby. Sometimes you just got to make it happen. When it comes to Seasons, though, you're going to want to be at that show. You're going to want to keep in the know with them because they're going to have new music coming out and man, it's going to be absolutely fantastic. I can already feel it in my bones. So make sure you follow along with them on every single thing when it comes to social media, when it comes to following along with their music, whatever it might be. Buy some merch, go to that show. All the links will be in the description of the podcast, along with all the links for MSOTD Rocks. And I want to thank Phoenix Fitness once again for sponsoring this podcast. I mean, when it comes to Seasons, like I said, that live show was something that was incredible. You don't go from starting out a show with 500 fans then getting to 5,000 to 6,000 within the span of 20, 25 minutes without putting on one hell of a show. So if you guys are not into Seasons right now, I mean, that should be enough for you to want to jump in and get to know this band more and to really support them and to listen to music and go and see them live. You will not be disappointed. Trust me on that. So hopefully, if you guys are out at that show on October 23rd, 2021 in Richmond, Virginia, if you see the hair coming out the hat, backwards hat, probably be a Milwaukee Brewers hat as well. Maybe the GFM shirt, maybe a nice Thank Kills or maybe a Rise Against shirt, whatever it might be. You see this face though, it's going down and it's going to be a freaking blast. So on that note, that's going to be for me today, guys. Thank you for listening to the Chord Progression Podcast. Brought to you by MSOTD Rocks, Rock and Metal Thrive. My name is Kevin, and you guys know how I end every single one of them. The big, healthy, and hearty. See ya!